This is Alexa Soto. Today we are gonna talk about a new game, an action combat game. As you guys can see in the screen, it's called Romeo is a Deadman. And let's see its pros and cons. It is an action combat game which is in that third person perspective in a sense. As you can see in the screen, I don't know which perspective it is. Just watch and see. Okay? And let's get to it. So the game has some pros and then it has some cons. It is we can fight zombies and then a bunch of monsters in the game. With your sword, you got your great sword, you have different type of weapons and stuff. So that's pretty much it. It has a very interesting mini games like for your skill upgrades and other stuff. Similar to kinda near Automata, but it's not like the main stage itself. So you can go to your spaceship and then switch your character and stuff. Like it has different mini games. You know, similar to Near Automata. If you like that kind of gameplay systems, I think you will enjoy this one as well. And the hack and slash combat is really good, as you guys can see, and it has a really good feedback. Like when you hit something, it just freaking explodes like in a pile of blood. It's technically a blood. This is an Unreal Engine game, I think. For that engine, it is really good. You know, like the visual feedback when you hit something is amazing. And let's continue. It has 4 weapons, like I said, and it has 4 ranged weapons and 4 melee weapons, which is pretty decent amount. All of them has its own strengths and weaknesses. It is like a great sword. There is like a claw you can use, and there is like a glaive. So we got options there, and then you can literally use a bazooka. Ranged weapons doesn't have ammo, so you can just use it infinitely, which is good. That is a good point as well. And it has a skill system in this game. It's called the bastard system, and you had to grow bastards inside the soil, which is quite unique, I would say. Instead of plants, you will grow zombies, and then you use them. Like it's sort of like a pseudo summon, but you can summon them for your combat abilities as such, and it is pretty useful too. Like I got like a combo of freeze and then the time stop ability, and I was just able to combo that, and then it was really OP. Like you can just beat everything with that skills, you know. So definitely you have to use them. It is very important in this game. The game do get harder after a bit, so definitely you have to start to learn to use it. Alright. And the level designs are pretty decent. It is I don't want to call this a game a Souls-like game, because it's very action combat-y, but it has the level system of a Souls-like game, you know, with mazes. You have to open certain doors, get the key, and stuff like that. So it's sort of like that, but not as complex as Souls-like or anything like that, you know. So it's pretty decent amount of bosses. Like each stage has a boss at the end. They are all unique, but pretty easy, pretty understandable. You know what to do. You know that to hit their weak points and stuff. So which is nicer, you know. And the game, like I said, gore is really good. Like my character just melted when I die. Like and then there is so much decapitation, blood, so much stuff. So if you're into that gore action slash combat like prototype, Resident Evil Saga has that gore, and this one also has gore, but it doesn't really splash blood, but it is blood. You can just do that, little it down. You know, it's like a blood and then like a red pixel, a mix of both of them. So that is pretty good. The story is pretty interesting. It is a story between Romeo and Juliet. So very similar to Liza P, you know, the world story, and then they take it and then remodel it. It is very similar to that between the Romeo and Juliet, which is very odd Like, it's pseudo romance, but it's not. I don't even know what's going on. The game is quite trippy most of the time, so there is a story in this game, which is pretty decent. Like, there is like a side story you can do. Like, that is pretty nice. Side story, in a sense, it happens in the main story as well. It doesn't have any side story. That is like a filler arc in the main story itself, So that's what I mean. And it has different difficulty modes. You have to pick what color chocolate you want. Depends on the chocolate you pick, how much ass you want to get handed to you. It depends on what chocolate you pick at the start of the game. You cannot change it though. Be sure to remember that. If you pick one thing and you cannot change it, that's pretty much the difficulty for you. So probably not a good idea to immediately pick hard mode before you learn the game first, because this game is pretty hard after a bit. So definitely learn the game and then get it. The hardest is this game. It is weird. Like, that's all I can describe it. This game is weird in so many multiple ways, but it is interesting though. I came across a stage that is like a heart of the stage. Like, you cannot use your weapon and you have to run around the stage to figure out how to escape that some sort of loop you have to encounter. Which has that vibe really good. I liked that horror stage. It was unique, it was fun. I wish many Dark Souls has that horror vibe. Dark Souls doesn't really have that horror, but it definitely has that vibe to it. Yeah. So that is that. Okay, those are all the pros I can think of. Pretty good game. Fun combat, fun mindless fun, I would say. If you like one of those mindless fun action combat games, it's definitely one you should check. Pretty good. With that, let's go to the cons section, because there are some cons we can talk about it and then see what they can do to improve. There are some notable interesting stuff happening. Like, when you use your skill, it's called a bloody attack or something. You can heal, which is nice. And then the first Unreal Engine I ever seen, you can break some objects in this game, which is nice. Everything is stiff as fuck in every other Unreal Engine if you guys ever played one of those. But in this game, you can break the benches, which is cool. And it definitely has the reaction. When you shoot glass, it just throws the glass out. It doesn't break the glasses or the windows, but it definitely has a feedback to it. At least this one has a feedback. And you can see the main character's shirt is basically alive. I'm not going to spoil anything, so you guys can play the game and then figure that out. Why that shirt is alive, you can see it's moving. It's a pretty unique game. It's weird, unique, quite interesting, I would say. It's definitely worth a try. If you played a freaking Code Vein and other slop Dark Souls dog shit, this game deserves a chance. So definitely do it. Okay? Let's go to the con section. There are some issues I noticed. So let's talk about that and then we can continue. The dungeons. You have some dungeons in this game which you have to grind for your materials for your weapons. And the dungeons are pretty much exactly the same. And it is quite laggy. Like, everything else ran pretty fine. As you can see, it is a very fast-paced game and I didn't really stutter or anything. But the dungeons did. The dungeons are laggy, especially the library room. There is like a storage house you have to go explore. Like, those are all very laggy. So that is that. The dungeons are pretty much exactly the same. There is like 2, I think, that are different. Everything is just exact same. It's it's the same lobby. You have to grind a lot. Like, if you want to unlock the multiple weapons, upgrade them, like, you have to grind that so many times, which is kind of annoying after a bit. Luckily I don't have to do it much, so that is that issue. And your character, when Romeo gets hit, he gets staggered really long. Like, you're gonna break out of it, so try not to get staggered that much, because if you do, you are cooked. So that is that issue I saw. And then the bastard system I was talking about, the bastard system, the skill system, it has a timer. Each bastard takes like 10 minutes to grow, which is annoying inside a freaking action game. I don't really like it, but combinations you can immediately combine them and grow them. Yeah, so combination is completely fine, but growing them new takes 10 minutes of your real world time, not a gameplay time, real world time. But you could just go into a dungeon and then why? Like, I don't want to have to wait in an offline game, you know? That's kind of annoying. I hope they get rid of it. It's not even a survival game. I don't know why it has a timer, which is weird. So that is that. The gun, especially the machine gun, like you have like a small minigun you can get in the game. That thing takes like 10,000 years to reload, and your character just stuck on that animation and he cannot break out of it. If you try to do that shit in your boss fight, I got scared like multiple times in a boss fight. Like trying to reload the stupid thing. You know, it just literally, the boss has so much heavy attack they can do that just does so much damage in like a short amount of time. And if you get hit by that, you're a goner while reloading. There is unlock you can get, but the tutorial is too complex and annoying, so I skipped it. There is a tutorial. If you wait and then read everything, you will figure it out. But you have to pick what stats you want, and the reload is a stat you can get. But there are so many other important stats like your HP, your weapon damage, you know, the melee weapon you swing all the time. That damage, and then there is like a bastard system and stuff. Like those are all very important. Like you have to prioritize that first, and then this reload just bites you in the ass. Kind of sucks. Yeah, so that is that issue. Yeah, the tutorial being too long, I already mentioned that. The TV stage, especially at the end, like the green is TV stage. That was so long, it was so tedious, and it was like a maze, you know, it's like a digital maze you have to explore, which is kind of too long, I would say, too long for S1 good. But it's fine though, you will get a good amount of gameplay time out of this because it has like around 11 chapters or so. So that is that. So temporarily it's like 30 bucks or something around there, going for it. The music is good. This game has a really good music. You know? So definitely if you're like a music enjoyer, I think it is a good one. So very action combat with good music. So if you're into that kind of stuff, like a Devil May Cry, Grungy, those kind of games, this game also scratches that itch, I would say. Lost Stage too big. So in your first run through, you have to pick which weapon you are going to use the most, because you won't get many upgrade items to upgrade that weapon, so you're pretty much stuck with that. As you can see, I'm constantly running out of the sentry, that green icon over there. That is the weapon item I need to get to upgrade my weapon. So unless you want to grind that same as dungeon a lot, like if you want to, or if you are going to, then you will be fine. But if you are not, you just have to pick your weapon. Like you cannot, there is no refund system or anything like that, so you are cooked. But you do have refund system for your stats, not for your weapons though. So that is that issue. The weapons also, like your melee weapon especially, it doesn't really have that much combo. So you have to melee attack like 3 times and then it starts to loop again. You know, not really. I wish there is like a 5 attack, like a giga combo you can do or something. So there is not much combos you can do in this game. At least so far I played it. It didn't have any tutorial for it, nothing. It just has like 3 attacks. And then you have to use your bastard. Maybe you could change your weapon in the middle of the combat, I guess. That's pretty much it. So this is the stat system I was mentioning. You can play a mini game and then get the stats you want. So definitely do that. That's pretty much it. Overall, it's a fun action combat game with good music, decent graphics, good feedback. Like if you sure feedback when you hit something, like it feel good combat. Like I think this game is definitely for real. Like definitely. Like it just once you hit the fucking zombies with that melee attack and then your ultimate attack, like it feels good. Like they just explode. You know, it's a visual feast, I would say. Visual to the feast to the point your YouTube bitrate, if you're streaming, it's gonna tank, and then you look like a freaking Japanese censor. Because it has that much effects happening, but it is gorgeous to see it real time in the screen though. So these are the dungeons, as you guys can see. It's pretty much exactly the same, very same. Yeah, it's basically the single one. Like it's the same assets that you're using, but it is what it is. You know, it's not a big deal. So at least I didn't have to do it that often. I played it on normal difficulty, if I believe it right. So it was, you don't have to, but if you want to, it is good to get the updates. Alright, that's my review. Overall, I think I can give the game a 7 out of 10. Pretty fun. Romeo is an interesting character. It is very Japanese. Also, so you know the Japanese weirdness, right? So this game also has that. The mount varieties are not that many, but it's good enough. Yeah, so that is that. But you don't feel like it's just the same thing, anything like that. It has decent number, so you'll be fine. Alright, 7 out of 10 I can give. And let me give me a one-liner. This Romeo is not for the Juliet. That's pretty much it. That's my one-liner. Good game, definitely check it out if you like action combat. It does have its own difficulty. So if you want to have difficulty, you could increase it and have some fun. Alright, that's my review. So if you guys like my review and want me to add something, let me know in the comment section. And be sure to like, subscribe, do your things, and show me your support. With that, Alex is signing out.